Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I'm unboxing the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7i Aura Edition for 2024. This retails for $1,299 US. I'll include a link in the description. And in full disclosure, this was furnished to me by the manufacturer for review purposes, but will be going back once my coverage has been completed. So what makes this latest and greatest machine from Lenovo so special? It's what's under the hood, because we've got Intel's Lunar Lake processor, specifically the Ultra 7 256, and this is critical because this 8-core chipset essentially is going to change the game for Intel with regard to keeping machines essentially silent, cool, quiet, and most importantly, delivering best-in-class battery life. I don't just mean for Windows machines, but for all computers on this planet. So this is a really big step for Intel, and at $1,300 approximately, I think this is going to be very, very popular. It competes directly with, well, Lenovo's other best offering in this space, the Slim 7X, which is driven by Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite. A great machine, very solid price point, amazing battery life, much of the same principles we're about to see here in this Lunar Lake build. The key difference is this doesn't have an OLED, at least the review unit I'm about to unbox, and in addition to that, it doesn't have any of the compatibility issues you'll find with Qualcomm chipsets running Windows 11. Now, granted, there aren't that many, but when covering something running the Snapdragon X Elite, I still have to let all of you know that some of your software may or may not run. Here, because this is an Intel chip, x86 in its true form, everything is going to run as it should. So enough talking, let's get this thing out of the box. Again, an Ultra 7 processor, 8-core chip. We have 16 gigs of RAM. That is on chip. You cannot upgrade that. That's part of this new Lunar Lake processor, which actually came out of Taiwan Semi. So again, RAM is on the actual chip itself. We have a 15.3-inch, 2.8K IPS screen, 500 nits of brightness, color accurate, and I am told that eventually you will be able to customize this with an OLED, but at least at the time of this video, IPS is the only flavor of screen display for this model. Of course, we have a 1 terabyte NVMe SSD. That's a PCI Gen 4 drive, Wi-Fi 7. So we're expecting, of course, the best of really everything that is available here in 2024. Bluetooth 5.4. This machine weighs in at 3.3 pounds in change, which is really impressive when you take into account that the display is just about an inch larger than the Yoga Slim 7X I just brought into frame. And if you are someone who needs this for work, that extra nearly inch of screen real estate is going to make a difference, no question about it. So a little bit heavier, but I would say it has more to offer with that screen real estate. I know personally I would rather have a larger display that's nearly the same weight, and that's exactly what the Slim 7i Aura Edition delivers. But that isn't it. Another thing which is exciting is that we actually have full-featured ports here. So starting on the right side of the machine, you can see we have a USB Type-A port, which is a, I believe, 5 gigabit per second port. Then we have a Thunderbolt 4 port, our power button, our privacy switch for the camera. Come around the front of the machine, just the lip with actually no branding. On the left side, we have our headphone microphone combo jack, another Thunderbolt 4 port, and last but not least, an HDMI 2.1 port. So a big deal in my opinion. Bottom of the machine, clean. You can see the speakers, ventilation, and that is pretty much it. Nothing on the back hinge other than, well, the hinge itself. A little bit of Lenovo branding, which I have no problem with Lenovo putting their name on the machine. I just think that this is a understated laptop. It's not flashy, and it doesn't need to be. I really feel like this is aimed at business users, and for good reason. It stands to deliver everything you could possibly want. So let's go ahead and power this on. Same keyboard I anticipate from that Slim 7X, which was a phenomenal keyboard, to say the least. And then the trackpad also appears to be about the same size. So I know I'm going to enjoy using this. The speakers on the Slim 7X were good. It'll be interesting to see, again, for its class, how these weigh in. We do have a Full HD IR cam, top center, And another thing, let's see, this display, which is touchscreen, does go flat. So a full 180-degree range of motion. The Slim 7X did not have that same range of motion. So what am I expecting with this machine? And by the way, this was pre-configured by Lenovo's PR team. That's why I didn't have to go through installing Windows or anything like that out of the box. What I'm expecting, again, is the same experience, essentially, that I've come to really enjoy in the Slim 7X, but with even better battery life, even better performance, and of course, zero compatibility problems. So if Intel and Lenovo have delivered on that promise in this machine, this is going to be one of the best, if not the best machine of its kind in its category, not just for 24, but well into 25. And I think, reviews have started coming out of Asus's latest Lunar Lake machine as well. But to my knowledge, I have a feeling this is going to be the king of the hill when it comes to pricing, performance, and battery life. But we'll see. Again, I really like what I'm seeing here. By the way, the display is 120 hertz. There are a lot of new features. Of course, this is a Copilot PC. You can see the Copilot button right there. And just like the Slim 7X, the power button being laid on the side is good and bad. Obviously, occasionally a mispress will occur, but I still think that if that's the biggest flaw of this machine, we're in really good shape. And to remind you, the ports offered by this are a big improvement from the Slim 7X that's powered by the Snapdragon X Elite, which literally just had Type-C ports. It did not even have a headphone microphone combo jack. So this feels already a lot more like a PC that I would want to travel with, that I would want to have on me. And that's not a knock against the Slim 7X, because the Slim 7X set new standards for performance when it comes to battery life. And again, running quiet, cool, well, this may shake up the entire game. So just a recap. I wish that we had an OLED display here on the review unit, but I have to say so far, the OLED display looks good. I can tell the refresh rate out of the box is not what it's supposed to be. So I will go ahead and tweak all of that as I start to play with things. And, of course, I'm going to test everything in terms of even a little bit of gaming, because the integrated GPU here is supposed to be an improvement. So we'll see. After all, this is a brand new gen, and year over year, I think we're getting about a 20% performance boost. But as I mentioned, the single core performance is really what this is all about, and per watt efficiency. To my knowledge, this should be the new champion. And remember, over 20 hours of battery life. I think Lenovo directly is claiming like an insane amount of battery life, close to 25 hours. This does utilize I think, power delivery 3.1. I didn't pull out the charger. Let me do that. You see how I got ahead of myself, and I kind of didn't lose my way, but I'm very excited. And that 70 watt hour battery, another thing Lenovo is bragging about is that in 15 minutes using their charger, it will yield 3 hours of battery life. I mean, this is some bonkers stuff. So let me go back in the box here, because I did forget to pull this out. And I'm assuming that this is going to be a fairly low wattage brick, and I'm right. It's just one of Lenovo's 65 watt bricks. Pretty small. I mean, for reference, this is actually very small. I probably have seen one other Lenovo 65 watt charger that's about the same size. It might be a little bit wider and a little bit shorter, so it's really just a matter of how you look at the world, I suppose. But remember, I'm anticipating that this thing with the 70 watt hour battery is going to charge up in a little over an hour, and then 20 hours of battery life. We're rewriting the playbook. And then there are a lot of features that have been built into here that Intel has focused on and Lenovo has tried to optimize. So we're going to see how all of that comes together. But again, it's a really nice machine, I think. I didn't see, I'm not really feeling any kind of flex in the chassis. It's just solid. It looks good. And I think one of the most important features here is that you have a keyboard that literally is the best in the business, and this trackpad is excellent too. Of course, I still didn't change the refresh rate, but I'll do that. I'm going to install some software, get this thing running, start doing some testing, some benchmarking. But really, this is going to be all about not so much the benchmarking, because I've already seen a lot of that, but real-world use and how great that battery life is, and just how quiet and cool this thing stays with no compatibility issues like you'll find with Snapdragon chipsets. And I will say, I don't think this kills Qualcomm's, I feel, very robust and solid, a little redundant entry this year back into the space. I think, if anything, Qualcomm has now made their name and essentially their reputation more of a standard beyond the smartphone realm, which I think is huge. But there's no question this is Intel's chance to basically reclaim their own throne and say, hey, all of you who are trying to eat our lunch, AMD and now Qualcomm even, forget about Apple, we still can run the show. And I have a feeling this is going to be a best foot forward. This is good timing. I'm not getting into that for a lot of different reasons. And so I'm just glad to see a machine that has this sort of capability. And again, the chip came out of Taiwan Semi. It'll be interesting to find out whether or not that's something Intel is going to be able to do in their own fabs here in the US if need be. But all things aside, this is a very exciting product here for 2024. And I can only imagine when we start seeing, GPUs in machines like this. Granted, under load, they're not going to maintain these insane battery life specs, but still, I'm expecting much better battery life than we've had from gaming laptops of days past. That one caveat, again, you cannot upgrade RAM on this on your own, but I don't see that as a big deal because this does fall into an ultrabook class at 3 and roughly a quarter of a pound weight. 1.5 kilogram or 1.4 versus 1.5 kilograms when compared again with the Slim 7X running that Qualcomm chipset. But that pretty much rounds things out. Again, just excited to start testing this. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them at that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe and please stay safe. Later.